What is up, you guys? I am so excited and so happy that you all finished Reading Plus and that we get to do this literary analysis unit together. Honestly, it's like stupid how giddy it makes me to be able to read actual books with students and really do what I love the most about ELA, which is read, analyze, argue, write. It's just my favorite. So, this video is kind of the last step to getting ready for our literary analysis unit before we actually begin reading. And this video is important because it's going to define for you exactly what literary analysis is, okay? So as is the same thing for most things in ELA, literary analysis is exactly what it says it is, right? If you just think about the definitions of the words, it's going to tell you what literary analysis is. So first we have to look at the word literary. Literature is anything, written word, novels, short stories, poetry, songs, anything like that. Basically anything meant to entertain, okay? We are going to look at those types of things. So the groups that I have right now, I've got a novel and 2 plays. So you're going to read those texts, and then the analysis part comes in. You're going to analyze the text and search for the deeper meanings or the bigger pictures that go into the texts, okay? So when we read informational text, which is what we primarily do in this class, we read, we find the main idea of the article, and you learn how to, prove what the main idea of the article is by providing evidence. In literary analysis, it's really a lot more fun, in my opinion, because you are looking more at themes, so lessons that people learn. You're looking at growth, character analysis. You're looking at things that people have gone through, like reasons, motives that the author might have written the story that you read, right? And it's just such a fun thing because you get to learn all sorts of life lessons. Like, this is truly why I went into ELA, because I loved reading and then talking and arguing with people about, like, well, no, I think that the character who grew the most was this one because of this and this and this thing. And then you take that growth and you think about it and apply it to your own life, right? So I don't know. It's just like my favorite thing, and I'm so excited to do it. So literary analysis, we are analyzing literature. So this is the most important thing to remember about literary analysis. These notes, yes, some of them are going to be just observations, surface level, about personality, what the setting looks like, things like that. But your analysis part, a lot of these sticky notes are not filled with just surface level stuff. They're filled with notes about about what I think about what I'm reading. So literary analysis is also fun because yes, there is technically a right answer. I mean, you can't be totally off in left field, but as long as you can support whatever claim you make with the evidence that you find in the book, then there's really no wrong answer. You could make a completely different argument than someone else on the same writing prompt, and you could both have equally good papers, because as long as you support it with evidence, you're good, right? So we do not want to confuse summarizing with literary analysis. Remember, a summary is just a small account of what happens in the novel or in the book or in a chapter or whatever, amount you're talking about. Literary analysis is what you think about what's happening, using evidence to support ideas or thoughts or claims that you make about the text. So just remember that in your annotations and your note taking. There have to be notes where you take something that happens in the book and you tell me what you think about it. You tell me if there's growth happening, if something is significant or not significant. It could just be questions like, what do these random chapters that seem to have nothing to do with the plot have to do with this story? Like, why is this here? Even just things like, why is this author so annoying in the way that he or she talks, right? Like, you can get out your frustrations about what you're reading in your notes for literary analysis, right? So that's the main point of this video, is to remind you and to make sure that you write down in your notebooks that literary analysis is what you think about the literature you're reading, not a summary of what's happening. I've read all of these things that we're reading together at least once, but more. And so I already know what happens. I want to know what you make out of what happens. Why would Shakespeare choose to do this? Or why in the book Thief does this character, why is the narrator who the narrator is? Why are these certain things happening? Why would we choose to read a book about the Holocaust when it's really depressing? Like, what do we get out of it? Is there anything good that we can get out of it? Or is it a waste of time, right? You get to be really creative. You get to make your own claims, and then you just have to support it with the notes and the evidence that you put in your book. So make sure that you equip yourself with a lot of evidence. We are going to be having, they're called Socratic seminars, and it's going to be a baby version because we only have at most 4 people or 3 people in a group. But there will be a point where you guys will get to, I'll ask a question at the beginning of a class period. You will spend the entire class period just chatting with the 3 people in your group, or whoever, however many are in your group. And you will have to go back and forth about whatever you think the answer is to the question using evidence from your book. So you'll have to say, well, on page 288, it says blah, 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 which supports my answer that actually this is the answer and you're wrong. Okay, so I am super excited. It's going to be really fun, and I wish we could do it on a larger scale, but this will be, I'm still really excited. So literary analysis, what you think about the literature that you're reading, not to be confused with a summary or an account of everything that's happening. Okay, thanks you guys.